Today on Full Sail Live, after 6 years of no international baseball, it's finally back. Two teams will face off to prove to the world who rules baseball. Japan, led by the guy who does it all, Shohei Ohtani, against an experienced USA team who are hoping to retain the reign of world's best ball players. And you know what time of the year it is? March Madness is here and the Sweet 16 is set. All that's coming up. Welcome into Full Sail Live. I'm Janyre Cooper. Baseball fans have been waiting since 2017 to see their country's favorite players back on the field. The World Baseball Classic is here, and after not being able to play the tournament due to COVID-19 pandemic, but now it's back and the excitement is better than ever. To talk more about the World Baseball Classic final, we bring in Reese Ford. Reese, it's good to have you. Japan versus the United States are two teams that are very familiar with the pressure of the finals. What has the trip been like for these two teams?
Yeah, Janyre, it hasn't been an easy time for both teams going forward. Japan was trailing Mexico the whole game and didn't even score a run till the 7th inning. But with the major leaguers on their roster, they were able to get the spark they needed. Patrick Sandoval of Mexico held Japan scoreless through 6 innings in Miami. Japan would be down 3-0 after Luis Urias' 3-run home run that came in the 4th. The team would have glimpses of a comeback in the meantime, but would strand runners on the bases in 2 straight innings thanks to Randy Arozarena's home run robbery. Then, 7th inning, the new Boston Red Sox signing Masataka Yoshida would smack a 3-run homer on a 2-2 count to tie it up late in the game. But Mexico would not let that affect them. Turning to the 8th, Arozarena would lead the inning off with a double and be knocked in by teammate Alex Verdugo, taking the lead once again. And in the final inning, Shohei Ohtani, arguably the best player in the world, would lead off a hit in the gap for a double. Then, a couple of batters later, with 2 men on and a chance to win it for Japan, Munetaka Murakami would hit the game-winning double to advance them to the WBC final against the United States of America. Samurai Japan has yet to lose after defeating each team with an average of 3 runs. This all makes sense after looking at the team's statistics and rankings in the tournament. They're top 3 in every offensive and defensive category. And for the U.S., they had difficulty in the quarters, but not the semis. They were down late in the Venezuela game, but thanks to red-hot Trey Turner's grand slam, that would give them enough for the win. The shortstop's bat would continue to lift them, along with the rest of the team. There wasn't much trouble for them in the semis against Cuba. They would handle them quite easy, winning 14-2, scoring a run each of the first 6 innings. This is all back behind another great game by Turner hitting 2 home runs. And the 35-year-old first baseman Paul Goldschmidt knocked in 4 RBIs to match his career high for the World Baseball Classic. Team USA really wouldn't be here without their number 9 hitter, Trey Turner. The 4 home runs are the most for a U.S. player in a WBC. The 10 RBIs are tied for tops with Ken Griffey Jr. in 2006 and David Wright in 2013. And he's the first player in a WBC history with 4 RBIs in consecutive games. It's going to be a hard-fought game for both teams, but with USA's experience and Japan using 6 against Mexico in the semis, it puts a lot of pressure on them.
Indeed, it does, Reese. Thank you for the great information about the Mexico-Japan game. You make me want to go back and watch it. But not before, of course, March Madness in the Sweet 16. This year's tournament has been exciting, like always. So we will bring back Reese to talk about the biggest upset so far and what team could go all the way. Don't go anywhere on Full Sail Live. After an exciting first 2 rounds, the bracket for the Sweet 16 is set. With no one for another year guessing the games right, the tournament has had its fair share of highs and lows, so we bring Reese back in to talk. Reese, we have made it to the Sweet 16, and it has been just another year full of upsets. What has been your biggest upset of the tournament?
Well, Janyre, I got to go with Fairleigh Dickinson taking down the Purdue Boilermakers. They are only the second 16 seed to ever take down a 1 seed in the tournament. What adds to this upset is they weren't even promised a spot in the 64. They beat Texas Southern to get a chance against Purdue in the first 4. Prior to facing Purdue, that was one of their 2 only tournament wins in school history. Fairleigh Dickinson was the shortest team going into the tournament, and they had to face 7'4" center Zach Edey from Purdue. They kept the Boilermakers scoreless for 5.5 minutes down the stretch and didn't allow Edey to attempt a shot in the last 9 minutes. Before the game, head coach Toby Anderson told the team, "The more I see Purdue, the more I think we can beat them." And that they did, taking down the 1 seed 63-58. Even though they failed to win their round of 32 matchup, the story to get to the big dance was memorable. FDU didn't even win the conference tournament. They lost by 1 point in the title game to Merrimack, which couldn't participate in the NCAA tournament because of NCAA rules about switching from Division II to Division I.
Such a great story and a tough-fought run by FDU. But now we are down to the last 16 teams. Who is your favorite to win it all?
Roll Tide. Alabama head coach Nate Oates will be leading them to their 9th Sweet 16 and 2nd under him, with a chance of heading to the program's 2nd Elite 8. The Crimson Tide might have the top player in the country, Brandon Miller, but it has been senior point guard that has lifted the team to their success so far. He put up 22 against Maryland, scoring 15 in the second half. And as a team, they shot 39% from the field and only 28% from 3, and still won by 22. That's the largest win in NCAA tournament history by a team that shot under 40% overall and under 30% on threes. If this is them struggling, playing their best basketball is something a team does not want to face. This tournament has given Javon Quinterly a lot of recognition after 2 strong performances. The third-year transfer has built up his draft stock, leading Alabama to a Sweet 16. Quinterly and the team face San Diego State Aztecs this Thursday.
Well, Reese, Alabama is going to have their hands full facing San Diego State. They have only 1 more loss in the Crimson Tide this year. We appreciate your time coming on to talk about the tournament. Like always, thank you for coming in. After the break, we will be joined by UFC analyst Nathan Anderson to go over UFC 286 and the trilogy between Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman. We'll be right back.